and high crime levels. He's going to have to explain to us how he's going to deal with these. At the time when our standing internationally suggests that investors are not keen to come here with their money, that South African investors are themselves taking their money, running away with it. Then there is the issue that I think he cannot avoid. The size of the executive. Some 73 ministers and deputy ministers who consume huge portion of the country's resources at a time when our people have no medicines, have no money for education, and all of that. And he's no stranger to this problem. He's been part of cabinet and part of the executive in the last years that this thing has developed and been built in this way. How is he going to deal with that? Because of the fear of alienating many of those who voted for him are also benefiting in that size of executive.
Mr. Lekota, are these all issues that you would like him to hear him speaking about today during his State of the Nation address?
Well, there are only some of them. There are only some of them. There's far more issues that he's going to have to contend with. But I'm citing the issues that are paramount. He's in danger of his waning popularity if he's seen not to go on to implement the policies of the party from which he comes. And that's why I'm highlighting those ones right at the beginning.
Mr. Lekota, thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you have a good day today.
Thank you very much.
That was Monsieur Lekota of COPE, who of course will be speaking to us later on after the President's done with his address. I see people are slowly starting to arrive on the red carpet. As soon as we have someone who we can speak to about their fancy clothes that they're wearing today, we'll come back to you in the studio, Eben.
Thank you so much to Ebra Babia, our reporter there right outside the steps of Parliament there. And of course, the red carpet, as you can see in the background there, has been laid. A very radiant and happy-looking Monsieur Lekota, of course, giving his reaction and expectation to tonight's State of the Nation address.
Well, let me quickly wrap it up with Professor Dirk Coetzee. Professor, I'm back with you quickly. I just want to wrap it up with you and talk about the ANC quickly, and I want to talk about renewal, which is a massive buzzword, of course, within the ANC structures right now. But what about this bruising battle that they come through in December at the elective conference? How is that going to play out in the Ramaphosa administration?
Well, I think President Ramaphosa is very much challenged about trying to keep the ANC together. And that is the message that came from the National Conference and since then has been repeated so many times. I think one of the key issues is how to make sure that there is not a split like what happened in 2008 with the formation of COPE as a result of what happened now with President Zuma, and especially the support base within KwaZulu-Natal, which is exceptionally important for the ANC. It is still the province with the highest number of ANC members, while they have no representation now in the top structures of the ANC, especially in the top 6. So the way in which he will have to manage that is, I would argue, is one of his main challenges for the foreseeable future. I think what is also very important is how he is going to compose his new executive, the cabinet. And that will have to appear quite soon. There's now a vacancy in the Deputy President's position. And I think we all expect that he will have to reconstitute his cabinet in the very near future. That provides him with an opportunity to pull in some senior persons from KwaZulu-Natal in senior cabinet positions also. So he's going to use both the ANC as organization and the government in order to try to unify the ANC. What we are seeing is that what was last year referred to as the faction around President Zuma and Dr. Dlamini Zuma, that to a large extent that is now disappearing, moving to the background, where Dr. Dlamini Zuma is hardly in the spotlight anymore. She seldom appears in a high-profile position. And it looks as if the person who has moved in order to take over that, in order to deal or to represent to some extent that grouping within the ANC, is the Secretary General, Ace Magashule. While his own position is uncertain whether he is going to be implicated in the investigations of the Hawks and ultimately be charged by the MPA. But, and that will really determine what is also the future of that part of the ANC. So I can foresee that in the next 6 months to a year, President Ramaphosa most possibly would have consolidated his position, and that this sort of very fine balance that exists in December after the election in the NEC National Executive Committee as well as the National Working Committee, that would have swayed in his favor much more. We've seen it already happening in the top 6, where it is now basically a 4-6, a 4-2 division, and not anymore a 3-3 as in December.
Prof, the final question, of course, I've got to you today is probably one that will define, well, the presidency of Cyril Ramaphosa. If we listen to young South Africans and the clips a little bit earlier, they're all talking about land. Land is the economy, they say, for them, and the economy is land. How do you think Cyril Ramaphosa will address the issue of land in South Africa?
To be honest with you, I think those expectations are not going to be met. I think the land issue is going to be downplayed by him. The land issue emerges every time there's a big event, whether it's a national election or whether there's an ANC conference. After that period, it goes down in prominence because of the complications of it. If we look at the record of the ANC's governments of all 3 administrations, President Mandela, President Mbeki, as well as President Zuma, then the expectations haven't been met with respect to land in terms of especially agricultural land, redistribution of land in rural areas, agricultural land. I think what is in practice happening is that there's actually more pressure in urban areas. If we look at what has been done by the EFF, what they have promoted is actually occupation of land in urban areas, because with the urbanization there's a lot of pressure for land availability for accommodation purposes. While when we look at agricultural land, the number of people living there is in decline all the time. At the same time, agriculture has become a highly complex sector in the South African economy and in South African society. There's lots of failures with respect to land reform up to now, and mainly because the government couldn't provide support to the emerging farmers. So I think the issue of land is going to be downplayed, and the focus will be on other aspects of the livelihood, of the social existence of our society. And that is therefore creates the opportunity for other groups like the EFF maybe to re-emphasize the land issue, but it will be swallowed to a large extent, I would predict, by all the other matters about the issues of land, of job creation, of providing accommodation, of education, of the matters of university education, all of those things. But we are going to see the first sign of whether it is really an important matter with the budget next Wednesday, because the budget in general are going to provide us with much more detail than what we are going to hear tonight.
Professor Kotsa, thank you for your considered views. Coming to us live from the capital, that is Pretoria, Professor Dirk Kotsa with analysis as to, well, what we can expect and what the outlook will be ahead or after the SONA. We're going to take a short commercial break. You're watching a special broadcast. We're coming to you live from Johannesburg.
Show me a greater power on the whole continent of Africa. Show me a greater power anyway.
6th of June 1918 was the establishment of our movement to maintain that.
We need to do something about the educational upliftment of the Afrikaner, and we also need to do something about the economic upliftment of the Afrikaner. And that was the two main goals at that stage in 1918.
The Broederbond never was a cultural organization. It was a state-capturing organization. It is, in fact...
I like that term.
It has captured the financial systems. It has captured the parastatals. It has captured cultural organizations.
For all your constitutional and legal matters, tune into Rights and Recourse on Sundays between 2 and 3 Central African Time.
Welcome back to the special broadcast of News Today. As we come down the final hours towards the State of the Nation address, I'm Alisha Jadi. I'm with Eben Jansen.
Yeah, Alisha, nice to be with you as always. Yeah, we've heard from experts, the like. We're going around the country bringing you all the very latest, what people are expecting ahead of, ahead of the SONA address. It's 10 after 4. That is Central African time for those of you watching around the continent. We've got about an hour and 50 minutes away from the red carpet, and 2 hours, just over 2 hours 50 away from the big address this evening. But Alicia, you've got some work to do elsewhere.
I do, absolutely. Well, you do know, of course, Eben, that interest is said to take a special interest in rural provinces like Limpopo and, of course, the Eastern Cape in particular, the provinces that have always lagged behind in infrastructure as well as general economic developments. But for the hopes and expectations of the people of the Eastern Cape now, let's cross live to our reporter stationed in East London, Unati Bingose. Unati, what are the people of East London saying they would like to hear when it comes to those issues of infrastructural development?
Alicia, a very good day to you and a very good day to all our SABC News viewers. Indeed, we're coming to you live from Tanzania. It is the heartbeat, it is the pulse of this township, and I can tell you that this is where people from all walks of life in Tanzania township come and converge. And you can easily tell that by the various school uniforms that you are seeing of kids that are coming in here. I mean, it's your typical township schools like your Volumzi, and then you'll have kids wearing the bright colors of those elite schools like your Sterling and your Selborne Boys High. This is where it's all happening, and I can tell you that the pulse has reached its peak. But I can tell you that a lot of people in here, come 7 o'clock, they'll be glued on their radios and, of course, on their TV screens watching to hear what the new man in charge, the President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, has in store, planned for them to try and improve their lives. And this township in particular, there's a lot of unemployment, and of course the issue of crime can never be overemphasized, particularly right here in this area that we're in here at Tanzania Highway. But I must hasten to highlight that the majority of people who are operating in this area are indeed earning an honest living. It's just a fraction of people who are involved in criminal activities, and when you are here, you'll feel that your safety is not necessarily guaranteed. But that aside, if you are looking at that TV screen behind me, it's a giant screen. I don't know how giant it appears on your TV screens, but normally this is where people of Tanzania would ordinarily get things like State of the Nation. They will come and watch here. But speaking to the GCIS, which is the government communications team, they say due to the uncertainties and the dilly-dallying around the State of the Nation address, unfortunately they were not able to put in the State of the Nation address on this TV screen tonight. But those who are watching, they can rest assured that SABC has got various platforms where they can get the State of the Nation. But to hear the hopes and expectations of the people of this area, let us now be joined by this lady. If you can come a little closer, my sister. Tell me, it's the State of the Nation address today, and Utata Cyril Ramaphosa uzabesenza intetho yakhe yokuqala. Ingabe ulindele ntoni wena?
Mna into endiyilindeleyo kulantuka kunkosi Ramaphosa yinto yokokuba apha thina e-Eastern Cape imisebenzi ayikho. Abantwana bethu bayafunda, abaphume ezikolweni badinge. Thina siyasebenza pha highway, sithengisa i-virgin fruit. Siyanyanzeleka kuba kuthi kunetha kushushu kubanda sibe lapha i-highway kuba sithi ababeka isonga phezu kwetafile. Enye into abenoyenza sibawela aphelise i-crime. Sinengxaki apha yabantwana abathatha izipaji kubantwana abaseziteksini nasebantwini. akho ndlela yobakhontrola babaleke neefowuni zabantu beseteksini baleqa into abayileqayo ukuthenga ezi-drugs kuthiwa yitsufu. Abantu bayababetha, abantu bahamba kabuhlungu, thina sithengisa kabuhlungu kuba zii-customers zethu ezi abazibethayo. Ndingathanda mna ndinombono wento yokokuba kukho la mabhodlo asedimbaza nasefort Jackson ayediliziwe ngala xesha likaMnumzana uSebe uba kungakhe kukwakhiwe wona kuvulelelwe wona kungatsho kube bhetere abantu bafumane imisebenzi xa kunothi kwenziwe ezafethu zabhobozwayo.
Batsho manje kakhulu siswam if singamema nomama ukuba sijoin kasondele mama ke sive nakuwe Madlamini ingathi umba we-social grants ngomnye umba enikhe ndaniva ngathi nithetha ngawo ngamandla yintoni mhlawumbe eniyilindeleyo kumongameli omtsha?
Yabona mna ngoku umzekelo mna ndina 55 kodwa ndipay ndawuye emisebenzini kuthiwa sibancinci emisebenzini asilungi oko ndathengisa apha ehighway nethwa zimvula ndifundisa abantwana baphinde ndihlale nabelokishini bapaso 10 bahlala apha elokishini ngoba lo kuthiwa apha emisebenzini umntwana imisebenzi iphela ku-25 years xa engaphezulu akaqeshwa and imisebenzi ayikho sinethwa zimvula thina apha ehighway akho nebhizinesi negranti ngoba simele uba thina siyapeya ngoku asipeyi kuba kaloku kuthiwa sina 50 umntu ona-50 akapeyi funeka ube na-60 years uzube kanti uyapeya elo xesha thina sinethwa zimvula asikwazi uthengisa asikwazi uthini siyafundisa abantwana sisogqiba bafundisa abantwana bahlale nathi elokishini ngoba imisebenzi kuthiwa imisebenzi ayikho kuthiwa xa kuqeshwayo kuthiwa kuphela ku-25 years.
So uRamaphosa mayilungise le nto?
Bangayilungise le nto ngoba kaloku akufuneka umntu apeye sene-60 years makapeye umntu noba una-45 years and ngaphezulu kaloku mabaphangele abantwana bethu siyabafundisa bapaso 10 sihlale nabelokishini sibafundisa nzima.
Sibamba zibini mama maske sive nakutata phambi koba sibuyele studio tata ngokufutshane nje uRamaphosa uyophethe ngoku ngaba nilindele ntoni kwintetho yakhe yokuqala?
Nantso ndizathi futhi ndiyabulela xa kusitshiwo kuthiwa nakuRamaphosa usiphethe ndithi noko ndiqaphela ngaske kubekho utshintsho elikhoyo malunga nantoni and uRamaphosa kapha kuye into endinqwasileyo isikakhulu endinqwasileyo makakhe akavuselele ezi bhizinesi zisakhulayo. Like umzekelo yabona mna ngoku ndilapha kwinto ezifana nebhizinesi le bhizinesi le ndiyenzayo apha okuthengisa estratweni ukudala nje ndayiqala ndisemncinci ndisathengisa i-beef talk ngoku.
So awufuni umsebenzi wena ufuna ukuxhasa ishishini la?
Ndiyabona mna ngoku safuna umsebenzi andisafuni ntoni sendifuna ntoni ngoku ezi bhizinesi zisakhulayo kuba ndithe kuhambeni kwam nako ndivula laa nto kuthiwa yi-security company ngoku okuthengisa kwam kuba ndivuselela ntoni ilizwe lakuthi imisebenzi ithe cwaka ayinatsiki ayibonakali ayiveli ke ndiveza nezi khampani zothengisa nje nezintoni yonke loo nto ndizamela ukuthi ngoku mayiqine uvuselele yonke le nto ndiyancambaza kwintoni kwi-security company kuthiwa kuzi-security marshal ngaske nalapha iqine yonke loo nto.
Sibambe ngazibini siyabulela nto zakwethu babe sinalo ixesha ngesithetha nani nonke enkosi kakhulu. Well, there you have it. Those are the residents of Tanzania raising a number of issues. But obviously, one thing that stems from all their talks is that they are optimistic. They are hoping that the new man in charge and his cabinet, they'll be able to deliver on the promises. But one thing that keeps on coming up time and again is the issue of job creations. You understand that the ANC has declared this year as the year of Mandela and Adlai Tambo, and of course, it is also the year of job creation. So they are hoping that the ANC will be able to put pay in that, because they say they are not even looking for jobs for themselves. They understand that they are old, and of course they are able to sustain themselves through selling a lot of their wear on the streets of Tanzania. They are more concerned about their children. They don't want them to be a burden to government. They want them to be able to sustain themselves and not rely on social grants and all the other grants that government has got to offer. And I can tell you that these are the very same people who will be glued on their TV screens, hoping that the president will make those promises and actually deliver on them in future. With that, allow us to wrap for now and head back to you in Auckland Park.
Thank you so much to Nati Bingose joining us live from Tanzania. The people of Tanzania saying jobs, land, as well as service delivery is what they are awaiting on President Cyril Ramaphosa to touch upon. Let's now take a quick look at some tweets that have been coming in as expectations on tonight's SONA are fast increasing. Let's take a look at those tweets, starting with Communist Blade. They're saying he's replying to us at SABC News Online. Of course, you can also go there and give us your views on our social media. Start by announcing his new cabinet before SONA address fire them while millions of South Africans are watching. Hashtag transparency, transparency rather. And Beshu Elister says, replying to us as well, says, can we expect 0% of unemployment in South Africa? And Peter van der Spy says, well, nowhere in the world will you find unemployment of 0%, and that will especially not happen in South Africa. Let's not ask unrealistic things from Cyril Ramaphosa. Give him time to undo all the damage that Jay-Z has done. Let them try and get back some of the money, as well as improve the economy as well as jobs. Do we have more tweets coming in there? That is Nhlanhla Mavundla saying, I would like to hear who's going to be the next deputy president and Finance Minister. Malusi must go. Well, we'll see if that reshuffle does materialize indeed. Lunga Tsu says implementation of free decolonized education in South Africa. We've also heard some youths across the country, of course, weighing in on that issue. They need clarification as to whether or not education, high education, is free or not. Peter van der Berg says he must have the Hawks there. Arrest this one and that one for corruption and state capture. That will be the best start. Mazed says, I was about to say the same. Those are just some of the social media, of course, comments coming through on Twitter. You can also join that conversation at SABC News Online.
Well, let me now go down to Durban, where our senior researcher here at SABC News, Ronesh Davraj, is standing by. Very good afternoon to you, Ronesh.
Hi, good afternoon, Evan and Alicia. Great to be with you guys.
Yeah, nice to have you with us. Ronesh, firstly, what's the expectation of the people of KwaZulu-Natal, and what's your expectation of the SONA address tonight?
Well, I'm not sure about the expectations of the province that I'm sitting in, but I can tell you that we have to remember how the SONA actually comes about, the State of the Nation address comes about. It is an ANC process essentially because it is the ANC that's the majority party in Parliament. There is a process, obviously the January 8th statement that took place in East London this year. That is followed by an ANC NEC Lekgotla that feeds into the Cabinet Lekgotla, which took place a couple of weeks ago towards the end of January. And all of those processes actually feed into the speech that we will be seeing newly elected President Cyril Ramaphosa, who is going to deliver that State of the Nation address later during the during the course of today. But I had a look at the January 8th statement and some of the key issues that did surface in the January 8th statement. Obviously, the issue of the economy, spurring economic growth, looking at the idea of creating more jobs, the highly contentious issue of the social grants. That is a key election issue for the ANC because it's one of the mechanisms that the ANC does use to address issues like poverty and inequality, reducing unemployment, the matter of the very high and staggering rate of youth unemployment, which is currently sitting at around 54%. The township and rural economy is also going to feature very, very prominently. I also think the President will touch upon the national minimum wage, which was finalized sometime last year. It is going to kick in on the 1st of May this year, a couple of months from now. Then we know there are big problems in the Western Cape and Cape Town with regard to the drought situation. KZN, to a certain degree, also experiencing that drought situation. So the drought issue will come very prominently in tonight's State of the Nation address. Then the ANC in its Jan 8 statement also spoke about competition authorities, just broadening their powers to address matters like collusion and price fixing. So I think President Ramaphosa will touch upon that issue. Crime is a very prominent issue for the ANC, has always been for a number of years. The ANC wants to make South Africans feel safer. They want businesses to function much more efficiently without feeling threatened to run their businesses. Obviously, people also want to feel safer in their homes. So I think the crime issue is going to feature very, very prominently. But the big one for me, obviously, is going to be the land issue. People want to know, how is this land expropriation matter going to be handled? Legally, how is it going to work? What land is going to be taken? Will be given time frames. The other time frame relates to free education. We saw the former president of the country, Jacob Zuma, announcing that free education plan in December, mid-December last year. So more detail and more flesh around that free education plan will come into the perspective as well. I also think he'll focus a lot on the health issue. We saw what happened at the Life Yeah.
Ranesh, sorry to interject there. We've just got matters starting to develop on the red carpet. We're just going to go down to Cape Town quickly. Alicia's going to take it away, but I'm going to come back to you because there are a few more things that we have to get through.
All right, let's see what's happening in Cape Town. We just saw, of course, Abra Barbia there. She was joined by Reverend Kenneth Meshwe. Abra, it's over to you.
I'm now going to speak to Cyril Dudley, who is an MP with the ACDPA in Parliament. And Cyril is always really well turned out, whether it's SONA or not. But today you're looking especially beautiful. First, before we get down to business, tell me a little bit about your outfit. How did you go about choosing it?
Well, it's recently with the Chief Whips Forum in London, and I always pay a visit to a particular shop there and picked up this little dress. It's light, it's easy to wear. And it sort of bridges business and that more exciting time in our country. And so that's how I came to do it. And because it's so 50s, I decided that the stockings were very important as well.
Cyril, you spoke about bridging business. Let's talk business. Lots has been going on. What are you hoping to hear President Ramaphosa say in the House today? Is there anything in particular that you are wanting to hear?
Well, I think firstly the important thing is that bringing the nation together. We want South Africa, we know we are a diverse society and we want to embrace that diversity, but we also want to be one people, and we know that we've done amazing things together collectively as one country, and we can feel that energy seeping back into people's psyche. The negativism seems to be going. People seem to want to get rid of that negative approach.
With me right now, I have Musi Maimane and his wife Natalie, who looks gorgeous. I'm going to be coming to Musi very, very soon about politics. But let me first hear what he has to say about fashion. Musi, so tell me a bit about your outfit. How did you put this together?
This is just something I put together just out of the cupboard. No, look, I think dressing up is great. It's great that South Africa celebrates such days. I think we often have images of ourselves on television where often people see us fighting. They see us in our worst self. I think there are days like this that they've got to see us in our best self. See us that we can be strong, but we can also be a people that celebrate. So I think today must be seen in that light. I certainly am not a fashionista. My wife looks great. She's the one who looks beautiful today, and I just came to be the supporting act.
Let me ask Mrs. Maimane, what is the highlight of this day for you?
I think this year in particular, just the atmosphere is very different. Last year, if you recall, there were military police. We had a very high presence of the military and the police within the precinct, and I just think today is very different, and that's a highlight for me today.
On a more personal note, your husband seems to be quite a hit in terms of how he wears his suits. I don't know, I'm sure you knew that, but you're not the only one who has an opinion. So how does it feel knowing that your husband's a bit of a fashion celeb in the country as well?
Yeah, well, I think he looks fantastic in a suit. I think Musi was built for a suit, and I think he should look good. I think it's great. I don't have anything to worry about. He should look good. When he looks good, we look good.
So sweet, Musi. Okay, fine. Let's talk business now. What's your expectations for today?
When I signed up for Parliament, I came here to fight for South Africans who are left behind. South Africans that are unemployed, young South Africans who can't find work, the 30 million who are poor. And those numbers have been increasing. That's not a Jacob Zuma problem, that's an ANC problem. And therefore, we've got to come here today and I'll continue to fight for those. And therefore, we will be fighting today. I'm looking forward to a plan that talks about how do we create jobs? How do we ensure that life as it demanding is never repeated? How do we ensure that events that took place in Marikana, because our people are marching for economic empowerment, that never gets reported? This is the South Africa we must fight for, to ensure that when we talk about prosperity, it's for all the people, and that ultimately we can live in a country that's
Parliament, which gets so much media requests, because I work for the media unit in Parliament, and we deal with about 800 requests, actually more than 1,000 requests, where people are eager to come to Parliament to come and watch the President deliver his State of the Nation address. Now we're going to go back to the red carpet, where you can get also, again, to see all the colorful outfits and members of Parliament as they make their way to the National Assembly for the State of the Nation address.
I am standing with Karabo Khakau, the president of the Student Representative Council at the University of Cape Town. Karabo, looking gorgeous. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karabo. If you can,
Therefore, an illegitimate parliament which has violated.
I feel very excited. I've been dressed by a very special friend of mine. She dressed me from back at home. I'm feeling excited, honored, but I'm also a bit anxious about the future of South Africa particularly. I'm coming to the SONA not only honored by the prestige that comes with the ceremony, but I'm also anxious to hear what the role of the ANC moving forward is in enriching the livelihoods of South Africans, but particularly the youth, because we constantly speak of, access to higher education, but what does that mean for secondary education and the quality of basic education as well, specifically for students who come from marginalized backgrounds and particularly the black demographic of South Africa, and what that also means for people who cannot get access to those universities, students who need, who need technical skills. What is the implementation plan going forward? Job creation, how does that look forward? Because I think so far into our democracy, it is a shame to have to look at my peers and see how privileged I am to have a university access, but them, they can't get the university access, and neither are they able to get the job opportunities out there. So I'd like to hear moving forward what that future looks like.
And we do know that the former president pronounced on free education last year. How were those news received by the students of UCT?
The news were received very well, because we've always had a conversation of how the poor needs to be secured, how inequality in South Africa has left us so crippled that you'd find the opens of the doors of education open to the elite, open to the rich demographic or the well-off demographics, leaving the people who actually need that education to prosper into the economy and into their future at the background. So it was really, really great to understand that right now we are moving in the right direction, and hopefully that can be sustained.
Well, Karabo, you indicated earlier that your friend dressed you. So in order for us to do some little justice to your friend, if you can just turn around for our cameras to see the entire dress. Thank you very much, Karabo. Well, that was the SRC president at the University of Cape Town, Ms. Karabo Khakau. Well, as we can see, that is still a lot that is happening on the red carpet, and we will be walking around to try and see if we can speak to Ms. Phumzile van Dam. If we can speak to Ms. Phumzile van Dam.
Can I ask you just open the dress for me on the sides?
Well, well, I'm just waiting. She's just taking some few pictures, but she has agreed to talk to us, and she will be talking to us in the next few seconds. We are just waiting for my colleagues to finish with their pictures. Well, Ms. Phumzile van Dam, welcome. Looking gorgeous as always.
Good. Thank you very much for having me, Temingosi.
Well, thank you. If you can just share with our viewers who's dressed you.
So I'm dressed by local designers, Malcolm and Klook. They've made these beautiful, colorful dress for me, African prints. I really wanted to go for a Black Panther look. So you'll see my rings. They're from Ghana. So yeah, that's the look I was going for. It's Black Panther. I'm really looking forward to seeing the movie.
And with President Ramaphosa delivering his first State of the Nation address, what are you expecting to hear from him?
Well, I mean, like all South Africans, we want hope. South Africans are looking for hope. South Africans have for years wanted Jacob Zuma to be gone. Jacob Zuma is now gone. So I'm really hoping, like all South Africans, that he delivers a message that will really bring real change to South Africans as they really, really want.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Van Dam. If you can then just turn around so that our viewers are able to see the entire dress. Well, viewers, that is Ms. Phumzile van Dam. We are now walking down further the carpet to see if we can speak to one of the honorable members of parliament who is standing with me. I have Honorable Thapelo Shilwane and Honorable Lisoma. Ms. Shilwane, good day and welcome.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
You're looking gorgeous as always. Who dressed you?
It's my sister who dressed me. She bought this dress in Ireland, I think 6 years ago. But today I just felt I must just put myself on it. Look very traditional, but stylish as well.
And what are you expecting to hear from the president today?
almost it's your corruption, program of the government, how to build up the economy, and going forward on how to improve the lives of the South Africans.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Honorable Zuma, if you can share with us how you're feeling and who's dressed you.
Oh, I've got a designer who designs my outfit. As you can see, that is more of a Western formal, exclusive outfit. So I've got my designer.
And what are you expecting to hear from the president today?
For him to elaborate how are we going as government to deal with issues of corruption and also to make sure that we better the lives of the people. Most importantly also, how do we, within ourselves as government, public departments and also our SOEs to make sure that they comply and respect corporate governance as it were expected.
Well, thank you very much, ma'am. Looking good as always. We are still walking around the red carpet to see if we can be talking to more people. But I also have with me my colleague, Ayanda, who's our social media reporter. Ayanda, can you share with us what is happening in the social media?
Thank you very much, Tim Goes. Well, hey, the social media. Cape Town is not wet. Day 0 is approaching, but some of the few tweets that we have here, one from Tsatsi Krisni saying, out of curiosity, will Jacob Zuma attend? Another one from Ujimi Soldier saying, with the current mood of the country, Cyril is going to win a World Cup, I tell you. So it's clearly there's some good mood there around it. Then, here from Mulaifa, she's asking, when does the SONA 2018 fashion start?
The show has just started.
You know, and I saw you interviewing a number of guests and dignitaries and ministers, asking them to turn around and all of that. So
and I hope that she is watching.
We trust she's watching because we're also live streaming this on our YouTube channel. And for everyone who's watching on DSTV 408, if you've got friends who are not near TV, do make sure that you continue following our social media platforms. That's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We'll be live streaming the entire show and live tweeting. All of that is at Parliament of RSA. Temgos, buyela kwikhuko elibomvu ndoda.
Dabulela Ayanda kakhulu siyaqhubekeka ne-red carpet yethu. With me is Reverend Kenneth Mushwe of the Meshwe. Thank you very much, Mr. Meshwe. Welcome, and how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Very, very hopeful that a new dawn is before us, and there's a breeze and atmosphere of change for the positive.
And we do know that President Ramaphosa will be delivering his first State of the Nation. What are you expecting to hear from him?
Well, the first thing, obviously, I want to hear from him is how he's going to use the broom. Or maybe, firstly, whether he has brought the broom with him. Because we want to hear about sweeping cabinet clean. All those people who have allegations of corruptions over their heads must all be removed. And then bring in people who are clean, people of integrity, people who will ensure that the image that has been tainted by the reports of corruption is changed. We need to clean the image of South Africa internationally. And that is what we are looking forward to hearing from him, how he's going to do that, because it must be done. Some people ask me, are you suggesting that a cabinet reshuffle must take place? I said, for sure. If he does not change cabinet, we are going to become suspicious. Maybe he also has eaten with them. Because if he has not eaten with them, let him deal ruthlessly with corruption.
You know, Reverend, what we often say is once someone has this traditional wear, there must be a matching dress to it. As we can say, sure. Mama, good day, and how are you?
Good day, I'm feeling great, thank you.
Mama, usually this question I would ask to our guests, but this time I'll be asking it from you. Who's dressed you and who's dressed the Reverend?
Of course, during this time, I become the boss. And I'm so grateful that he always submits when it comes to the dress code. So I decided on this, that we should wear our SONA tradition. He's SONA, but I'm from Limpopo. But you know what? I submit to him.
Well, Mama, and what are you expecting to hear from the President today?
Well, like My husband said, you know, we are very, very concerned about corruption in our country. I mean, even when we go overseas, the minute they ask you a question, where do you come from? You say South Africa. They say, oh, you know, like, what are you guys doing? But today we are expecting that he will be bold enough to tell us how is he going to turn the whole of South Africa the right side up. We have been going underneath, you know, but we are hopeful that things are going to be great.
Thank you very much, Mama, and thanks to you, Reverend. I must say you are looking gorgeous in your traditional way, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you so much. I hope the same for you, and I hope you are as hopeful as I am. South Africa is in for a great future, we believe. Because this is a great country, so we deserve a great future because this is a great country.
Thank you very much, Reverend. Thank you, colleagues. As we continue with our interviews, I am standing with the President of the Pan-African Congress, Mr. Luthando Mbinda. Africa, greetings to you, and how are you feeling?
I'm okay. I'm feeling good, yeah.
And,
thanks a lot, yeah.
And Africa, if you can tell, as I see, there is someone standing next to you, but I would love to ask you this question. Who's dressed you today, and who are you dressed?
No, this is my wife, Miranda Mbinda. This is Mrs. Mbinda, yeah.
Well, Mr. Mbinda, and what are you expecting to hear from the President today?
I hope the President, I don't expect any change, by the way, but I am just hoping that at least he will talk about this so-called radical transformation, because there is this rhetoric now in the ruling party about, radical. But you see, I want to hear him unpacking it. You see, and then the only way to unpack it or to make it effective or implementable is to at least make sure that at least they deal with Section 25 of the Constitution, because it needs to be repealed. Because currently it is favoring those that have stolen our wealth and our land. So I hope he will also touch on the issue of education, because his predecessor, did make an announcement last year, although they did not explain it exactly how it is going to happen. And I understand that even today, students are still battling. We still have quite a lot of families that are unable at least to take their kids to school, even at tertiary level. And as PAC, at least because our belief is that education is service to Africa, and therefore education should not be treated as an expense. It's not an expense to us, instead it is an investment, because we are talking about the future leaders of this country. The issue of landless, you see, I have already mentioned Section 25, because you see, without land or wealth, we are going nowhere. You see, as I was saying, our people are still living in destitute. They do not have any, they go to home, to bed without anything to eat. You see, the situation is appalling. But in a nutshell, I'm very happy, man, because this month we will be celebrating the anniversary of the founder member of the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, or Professor Mangaliso Sobukwe, the defier of the undefiable, the man that was hated, more especially by the then racist regime. So we are celebrating him this year. Today we are starting our national conference, today, tomorrow, and Sunday, in Cape Town, Kwalang. So this is not by a coincidence. So that is why when I congratulated to Cyril, the president of this country, yesterday, I said, at least he is getting this position during this time of Umangaliso Sobuka. I'm just hoping that at least they will redress the imbalances of the past.
Siyabulela Mongameli, kodwa ke ndibonile uba awuhambi wedwa, uhamba nomama. Mama, sawubona kunjani go?
Siyaphila bhuti enkosi kunjani?
Siyaphila enkosi mama, you're looking gorgeous. If you can tell us how you're feeling and who has dressed you.
Oh, ndizinxibisile mna ngokwam. Nentombi yami ke indincedisile. Ndiyavuya nami uba lapha wethu.
Siyabulela kakhulu mama, wena ngophi umyalezo ogeluva kumongameli namhlanje?
Hey, ininzi into esifuna uyiva wethu utshintsho malube khona ke kubonakale ngokuba hayi kuphethe omnye umuntu nyani.
Siyabulela kakhulu mama, sithemba ukuthi uzolonwabela usuku lakho.
Enkosi nami ndiyabulela.
That was Mrs. Mbinda. We are still walking around the red carpet to see if there are people that we can talk to. I say that the people that I would like to talk to are still taking cameras, are still taking pictures. But we will be walking around. You can see the members of the media. You can see that the red carpet is filling up. There's a lot of activities happening within the parliament precinct. We're just going to check again if Ayanda has any updates for updates from the social media. Ayanda, when's the Gandon boot?
Well, Tim goes, aye, baya Twitter labafan. Uthi ubuntu mkwelo. So guys, does it mean that during SONA 2018, we won't see drama like we used to during Sholo's era? Ingathi zobhora kanjani. Then another tweet from Anusha Pillay saying, "We are a young democracy, but boy, are we feisty. Apartheid dismantled, Madiba freed, first democratic elections in South Africa, a lauded constitution, recall of 2 sitting presidents with no coups, but civility. And now we see the main drafter of our constitution and the NDP becoming president." Another one saying, "I hope y'all don't stage a walkout tonight during SONA." And he tags Julius Malema. And that's the thing about social media when a term goes, in that it's really brought leadership and people that are in positions of power so much closer. I could literally tweet Cyril Ramaphosa. I could tweet Donald Trump. I could tweet whoever from here, from my room, from even the bathroom. I could do that. So those are some of the tweets. Perhaps some of the last two is from Heavy Current saying what he wants to hear about are labor brokers, water crisis, national minimum wage, which is a very critical aspect, high crime rates are the issues that I expect the president to address. And perhaps second last is from Sniper, Ramaphosa really captured my heart. Although he is in the ANC, I do believe that he is by far a greater leader than anyone else sitting on that side. He is exactly what we need, visible, quick, and intelligent. Let's hope the EFF can at least behave on this symbolic moment.
And for those that have just joined us, if you can just share with them the hashtag so that they are also able to join you into conversation.
Thank you. For all those who are at home, do make sure that you follow us on all our social media platforms. That's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we'll be live streaming the entire event. So, and all of that is at Parliament of RSA. The hashtag is hashtag SONA 2018.
Yabulela Ayanda siyaqhubekeka ne-red carpet yethu njengoba besesitshilo usitshilo ke nobhuti Ayanda wathi hashtag yethu for namhlanje it's SONA 2018. We are still walking around to see if we can get any person to talk to. The red carpet is still abuzz and there's lots of activities happening here, and we do have wonderful, good-looking ladies with us. Ma'am, good day, and how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm good. Thank you, ma'am. I'm good. How are you feeling, and who trusts you?
Wow, Malcolm and Kluk here in Cape Town, he trusts me today, so I'm very excited. It's a very nice day today, and everyone is like feeling good, so yeah.
I must indicate that you are the second person that I'm talking to who's been dressed by Malcolm and Kluk. They seem to be stealing the show. Ma'am, what are you expecting to hear from the president this evening?
You know, we're actually expecting, especially from basic education, because I'm a Deputy Shadow Minister of Basic Education. We're expecting that the president will actually come up with very concrete position of accountability. You know, our education system is not up to scratch at the moment. And you know recently that our learners at grade 4, they cannot read to understand. So we need him to come up with really concrete and make sure that the policies are being implemented. And we want him to really commit himself today to say this is a direction that we have to take as basic education to make sure that, in the first place, infrastructure, all those low-hanging fruits like infrastructure, making sure that the learners, they have teachers that can actually teach them, especially maths and science, that we get the teachers that we need in schools. So we're looking forward to that kind of commitment from him.
Thank you very much, ma'am, but please don't go away. Ma'am, good day. How are you feeling and who dressed you?
Thank you so much. Luckily, I'm somebody who always go out and look for shopping. What is it that can suit me? So I always tried the design, but this time I was not lucky, but I decided to dress myself. And I'm happy and I feel comfortable. You can see this is the colors of the Democratic Alliance. And
Ma'am, what are you expecting to hear from the president today?
Because I'm a shadow minister of health for the Democratic Alliance, basically today I'm really expecting to hear from the president if he can give us a clear guideline what is happening in terms of national health care insurance. Because
recognized you a long time ago. Don't worry.
Davis Tax Committee, they were claiming that the economy is only growing at 2%, of which it will be difficult to implement the NHI, because currently even in the project, the pilot project, there's a problem with finance, as much as there are many professional people that were not being paid. So today I want to hear more from the president. What is it that is going to talk about NHI? And something that is also more critical is the infrastructure. We know that the infrastructure is failing, is falling apart. Medical equipment, they are not being replaced. There's no maintenance. You remember there's a Kimberley Hospital that started with a project of about 290 million. Now it's 1.8 billion, but the hospital is not yet closed, it's not yet open, it's not yet operational, there's not even money to run the hospital. So today, basically, as the Democratic Alliance, we're interested in those issues.
Well, thank you very much, ma'am. You are looking gorgeous indeed. I will allow our cameraman to focus on you. If you can just turn around so that we can see the entire design. And we are still on the red carpet and we are looking for more persons to interview. You can see that the red carpet has filled up. People are, it is hectic here. Members of the media are all over the place. We are busy conducting interviews for fashion. And we are still conducting the interviews, and the DA ladies are showing off for our Parliament TV. They are different designs, and Michael and Chloe seem to be dominating the designs. Ma'am, if we can talk to you.